Well, hello there, sports fan. Welcome to this week's edition of Rhea Welding and Machining. Well, we got a whole bunch of odd and end stuff we're doing this week. I got a low cast iron cooking grate for a buddy of mine to weld up. I got a bridge I got to do a little welding on. Got a guy that got a hay spear that done tore up on his tractor for the second time. We got to get that there fixed, and I don't know, it may sprinkle something else along in there, but anyway, y'all stay tuned. I hope y'all enjoy this week's episode. Remember now, watch it on Wednesday. Now I do a Wisdom and Welding Wednesday episode. Kind of give a few tips and ideas and stuff. Y'all be sure to watch that, and watch for that episode 4, that SA200 rebuild coming up. So stick around, let's see what all gonna happen this week. All right there, sports fans. Got a buddy of mine, I usually don't fool with this stuff, but he's kin folks and a buddy too. Got this old cast grate broke. We're gonna braze that up for him today. I've already got that ground and cleaned up pretty good. So we're gonna see what we can get to do with it. First thing you gotta do is cut your oxyacetylene on, which I thought I'd already done. By God, that makes a little difference. You hear that pressure? That ain't what you want. Turn that oxygen down a little bit. Alrighty. I've got a bare rod and flux. Well, they make it the other way, but had a bunch of this. Heat it up, stick it down in your flux. All right, let's see if we can get this hot enough to do something with. Still got a little too much pressure on it. Get a little hotter in there, see what that'll do. Ah. That piece right there is taking a lot of the heat out of it. I can't get it hot. All right, we're gonna let that sit and cool off. Then we'll flip it over and catch the other side of it. All righty. See if we can blend all that in and get all that tightened up now. Well, alrighty there, sports fan. That's got that there wrapped up. We'll let that cool off. We'll look at it in a minute. Alrighty. That's still just a tad warm. But see, we got all that filled in. They got a little glass on it right there, but it's filled. I think it's filled in. That's why you inspect your weld. When I was welding that, I thought it looked like it had filled in. And it had. That's where the crack was across there. It's hard to tell. Got a little spot right there, but the weld, the line has been fused and sweated in. So we got to weld it good. Well, I hope you found that useful. How to braze something. Your heat's the main thing. You get too much pressure, and that's what I was fighting to start with. Trying to get where those legs were, it was thick. So I was trying to get enough heat on there to go ahead and heat that up to weld that without having so much pressure on there. I was blowing all of the brass off. Cause it's kind of like solder, it's kind of got to roll in there and flow in there. So finally got our temperature set on that where we could get that done, and she went on, eased on in there then. So I hope that helped you sometime doing something. Brazing is kind of a lost art. I can promise you that art I wouldn't found on that right there. It's stuck together. But now, my daddy was an artist with it. He could weld that up. He could do a vertical up with that brass about as slick as anybody. I can tell you, that's not gonna look good when he'll do it. But anyway, Pop's gone and I'm hung out here on my own. But all right then, that's gonna wrap this session up. Well, all right there, sports fans, this Saturday morning. We head down here to weld on that old casing job. Y'all pray that we stay safe, have fun, do a good job while we're there. So I'll show y'all a little bit more about it when we get there. A lot of times I get tired up and busy with what I'm doing. Won't think about recording and all that stuff. So y'all bear with me. I'm gonna try to get it done today. Talked about it before. I had talking about what all I've done and stuff. Way back yonder in 1977, I was driving a gravel truck and I hauled clay gravel down here on this road here when they were building it. So just did that for not too awful long. Then I started running the track hoe and digging at the clay gravel pit. I had a little smart mouth on me back then. I didn't maintain jobs real long that summer. All right, sports fans, I'm about spent. There's a rig. There's the last joint right there. They ready to drop it down in there. Got my old baby girl muddy this morning. We got her stuck over in that hole, but they getting her dressed up now. So gonna be on with you. I'm gonna cool off a minute before I get my paraphernalia rolled up. But that's gonna wrap this old job up. See y'all later. Well, good morning there, sports fan. Down here in the shop today. We got back from Saturday from welding on that water well down there, that casing. Everything went good and all on that. I apologize, they wouldn't let me. A lot of places like that though, they really don't want you down there filming because here you go, everybody looking, oh, they should have had that tied off. They should have done this, they should have done that. Everybody nitpicking the jobs to death. So guy said, no, he just didn't want me filming down there what I was doing or up on the rig or anything. So I filmed what I could. So anyway, it doesn't show any welding or anything, but that's the way it is. It's his rig, you know, you do what they say. But anyway, got back, I run up there to the country club, had a little welding I needed to do on a bridge. Baby girl wouldn't crank. So we kind of got the old battery out of there, put her on a charge over the weekend, slow charge. Of course, them internals need cleaning, but then I tested it with this brand new handy dandy tester right here that you can tell it's good because it'll check 6 or 12 volt batteries. Something like me is just a little bit old, but it's still, it'll load test it and everything and says it ain't real good. So got a fella call, I gotta go weld a hitch on a jack on a trailer for him. So we're gonna get this battery pulled out here and run and get us a nutting and get back and see if we can go get that little job took care of. Well, all right there, full fan. Look at that. Old gal sitting there clucking. End up where we put a battery in there, what I said. We need it. And we're gonna put a positive cable on there while we was at it. That really was a little short. And so we don't got it put on there, but it's after lunch now, but got a buddy, he kind of in a bind. I gotta go weld that jack on, so let me get things wrapped up here and get my hands washed. Let's get headed that way and get that welded on. All right, sports fan, we done made it to our destination. Gotta get out here. Old jack done got bent up there. We're gonna cut it off, weld the man on a new one. Well, all right there, sports fan. We got to weld it on now. Both sides. So his old camera and old Red getting hot. So we think dog this thing here off, call this good. Get the foot on there. Get the buckets out from under there. See y'all on the next job. Well, good morning there, sports fan. We're over here at the country club. Got old bridge right there. These old plates they ain't died down good. We're gonna try to get in there and see if we can get in that gap there and get them kind of tied down a little bit, cause I'm tired of hearing them rattle when I ride across them. Wanted to get out here early this morning and get this done before they got to heating up and bowed too bad. I don't know how much I'm gonna do on this end, but let's get started on it. Well, all right, sports fan. As good as I could get it on this end. I tried to reach through there and catch all them little struts in the middle there. I got most of them down, some with them 10s. Maybe it'll hold. Problem is, this thing gets hot. It's gonna try to stretch and get long this away. And it's gonna want to buckle again, but that and the traffic of the carts going over it and bouncing, I don't know how long it's gonna last, but she's a little solid now. Well, all right, well, let's get the old Gary rolled up, head out to the shop, see what we can get into out there today. Probably not a whole lot, cause it is one hot booger bear out here today. Y'all be careful, I'll see you in a little bit. Well, hot right there, sports fans. We got that old braze welded up this morning. We out here in the shop. You've seen that, we may have, may not had. Anyway, I got a channel on that other deal. And I had redone this thing one time before. They get to fooling around and not paying attention. The leg hits the lever on the hydraulics and it tips the bucket over. They got the hay fork on there, hay spear, so that ain't supposed to be pointing to the ground. That thing's supposed to be pointing straight out. And you can see it twisted it all up, broke it loose, and tore it, and all of that. Just so happens I do have another piece of that 3-inch tubing, but it's a little thicker. So he hang that son gun in the ground this time, he gonna buy him a new spear point, cause I don't believe that right yonder gonna give, cause I'm gonna take it all the way across those uprights that you see here. I'm gonna take it all the way. I'm gonna cut it from here to here on that thing. So it'll end up this piece will be all the way across both of those and tied in over there, so it won't have that shear point right there dead at it where everything's been cut loose and welded back up. But that's what we're finna get started on. So I'm gonna start out by cutting that piece out and getting it cut off of there, and then we'll see what we got left before we cut the length on our new piece and cut holes in it to weld that spear holder back in. So let's get started on that one. Well, all right, sports fan, we're cutting our piece of square tubing to go back in that nurse plate. One little tip now, I marked this somewhere around 14 inches. It was pretty close, but that thing was under stress now when it twisted. So when my 14-inch marks come out, look at that, we had about 14 3/4 what I'm gonna cut it. See if we can get her fit in from there. So let me get this piece in cut, and then I got to put the hole in, but I got to fit it in there, and then find center to burn that hole in there to mount the spear back on. Alrighty, put me a bar back here, got me an angle under there so it'll hold this. Now what I got to do is I got to mark one end, because you see it's different in there and there. Got to cut them off where it was square to square, and that way I can come dead in the center here, burn a hole for that piece of pipe right there to go in, and that's what holds the spear on it. So let's get started on that. I'll get that laid out. And alrighty, we got a handy dandy little circle burner we made. We got it set up at 1 3/16 inches, just a hair over, because that's a 2 3/8 inch diameter pipe. And we'll see if we can get a hole burned in there. I'm gonna close that up just a little bit. I believe we clean that up a little bit, we'll be good on that. Got a little bit down in there I need to clean up. Flag on that bottom, I should have done something with. All right. Okay, get that over there so we don't melt the bottom off of our shoe. We'll get that cleaned up and see if we can get that thing set in there and welded in. Well, alrighty. Well, all right there, sports fans. We got her knocked out, got her painted up. Maybe it'll hold for a little while. We don't know. But anyway, it's hot. I'm finna keep my fat head behind into the house. Get the tractor, set this thing back around out front so he can stop and pick it up. Anyway, that's about gonna wrap up this deal right here. I'll holler at y'all next time I see you. Well, all right, sports fans, we about got this episode here wrapped up. It's hotter than a 9-eyed cook stove down here, so we done made it back to the house. I hope y'all enjoyed this week's episode. Like I said, had a lot of odd and end stuff, tried to get done, tried to get caught up on. I'm fixing to have to get busy and pay attention to my golf a little bit. We starting our match play club championship match play tournament, so I got to get started on that, kind of bear down on that there a little bit. So anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this week's episode. Y'all be careful, stay safe, go to church on Sunday. See you next time.